right, it's time for KP's Video News. And I'm going to touch on a topic here that's been going like cross country, and it's been a lot of situations going on in this country about pertaining to our children and going to school and them being arrested, like 5-year-old kids, man, being arrested and manhandled and the whole 9 yards. And so right now, this is a story that I'm going to read that is pertaining to a suburb of Washington D.C., and they're trying to figure out, what to do, And so it says the story is about, do police belong in schools? A suburb wrangles with how to keep safe. What's ball gun? Tasty beverage with your KP Video News cup. Don't forget, try to send a few people over to subscribe to KP Video News, and this cup could be yours, or a t-shirt, or whatever. But anyway, on with the story. Susan Birkinshaw remembers feeling relieved when she saw a police car parked outside the high school her 3 children attended. There's an officer in the building, she would tell herself. If anything happens, there's an officer there. But when Tiffany Kelly sees a cruiser near her 10-year-old son's elementary school, her heartbeat quickens. Last year, the youth, who has learning disabilities, was questioned by police at his school for playing with play money. I constantly live with this fear, Kelly said. If there's a cop, immediately think, what's happening to my son? These disparate views in the same liberal Maryland suburb illustrate the core of a thorny debate that has erupted over the community policing bill. The legislation includes a request to maintain and expand Montgomery County's $3 million school resource officer program, which places police in the county's 25 public high schools, while the goal of the legislation was to bridge, not widen, the distance between law enforcement and marginalized groups. The clause on SRO had its opposite effect. In January, more than 30 people testified against the proposal to expand the program to Montgomery's 40 middle schools. At a recent council meeting, activists sat behind the chief of police, Marcus Jones, wielding paper signs that read, "Kids need counselors, not cops." And SROs feed the school to prison pipeline. And I agree with that. Across the country, the idea of armed officers in school has grown more contentious as calls for stronger protections against external threats rub up against the concerns of police brutality and racial inequalities. A spate of horrific school shootings has led to calls for greater police presence on campus, including from the D.C. Duds. The issue is particularly fraught in Maryland's most populous jurisdiction, a once predominantly white suburb where black and Latino children now account for the majority of the school student body. The all-Democratic County Council last year passed an ambitious racial equality bill while attempting to resolve trust in law enforcement following a police-involved death and other controversial incidents. County Council members Nancy Navarro, co-sponsor of the community policing bill, has proposed removing the requirement to expand the SRO program, and other council members agree. But Captain Pruitt, who oversees the program, said the county has already approved funding to place police at the 3 middle schools and is looking to expand it further. Some parents have spent years asking for more police, particularly in the wake of school shootings. Now, however, there are voices calling for the SRO program to stop growing and perhaps be rolled back. I don't see where at all education and police go hand in hand, said Hashim Jabbar, 41, who moved to Silver Springs 3 years ago. In 2016, a fight broke out at his son Amir's elementary school in Dayton, Ohio. Amir, a 9-year-old at the time, watched as resource officers placed one of his classmates, who was black, in handcuffs. A 4th grader, Jabbar recounted, shaking his head, "You tell me that's not trauma." In Chesterfield, Virginia, a new Commonwealth attorney has accused the SRO program of contributing to a school-to-prison pipeline in Sacramento, A school board recently voted to cut its number of school-based officers in half. Elsewhere, criticism has grown amid incidents of officers behaving inappropriately at schools. There's an officer in Arkansas filmed placing a black student in a chokehold, and another in Florida caught on a body camera threatening to shoot a high schooler. In New Mexico, an SRO reassigned after pushing a black 11-year-old against a brick wall. Any rational adults want their children to be safe, said Byron Johns, chair of Montgomery's NAACP Parents Council. But the problem is that for black and brown kids, the police themselves represent a threat and a problem. Equity and evidence. Multiple students show that black and Latino students, as well as students with disabilities, are disproportionately arrested and disciplined by school police. And the most recent federal data from 2015-2016 school year shows black students represent 15% of the total enrollment, but 31% of the students arrested or referred to law enforcement. So this is a sad situation that we have here. It's like on one hand you want your kids to be safe, and on the other hand, who's going to protect the kids from the overzealous cops that are manhandling them and throwing them up against walls and throwing them on the ground and handcuffing them and stuff. So on one rainy evening, Amir Jabbar, that was 9 at the time when he saw his student get attacked by the cops, is 12 now, sat at a bench at Charles Drew Elementary School, where he said he went and his little sister is in kindergarten. Amir is 5'8", so he's 12 years old. He's tall already, 5'8", a lanky, soft-spoken 7th grader. He thinks some police are nice, but a majority, 70 to 80%, are dangerous. At Francis Key Middle School, most of his friends are black or Hispanic, he said. Sometimes at lunch, they talk about reports of police pinning students to the ground, and he watches those videos, and he said he always feels the same way as he did after 3 years after sitting in the back of the classroom in Dayton. I think to myself, that could be me. And that's like the wrong message that's being sent to these kids. These kids don't need to have to go to school and feel like they're being threatened and feel like they're in an environment where they're, they feel like they're at school, and it's like, well, they're supposed to be safe at school, but they're at school and they're scared of the cops more than they are the gangbangers or whoever might be there. They're more scared of the cops than anything else. So this right here is I'm gonna touch on this one because it affects minorities as well. But this is racist attacks on Asians spreading faster than the coronavirus in the United States. A New York City man assaults a woman wearing a face mask, calling her a diseased bee. On a Los Angeles subway, a man proclaims Chinese people are filthy and says every disease has came from China. Rampant ignorance and misinformation about the coronavirus, experts say, has led to a racist and xenophobic attacks against fellow Americans or anyone in the United States who even looks Asian. With news of the coronavirus, we have seen an uptick in fear of people who look like this, said Rosalind Child, sociology professor at Georgia State University. Real people are affected, and the pain ranges from physical to verbal to financial. We in the Asian community are under attack. Who was born and raised in Los Angeles. Here's what's happening across the country: the facts of coronavirus and what people can do if they witness attacks. A tirade on the LA subway goes viral. Disparities said it isn't even Chinese, but that didn't stop an irate passenger on the Los Angeles subway from singling her out and claiming Chinese people are putrid and responsible for all diseases. Disparities, who is a Thai American, said the man ran it for about 10 minutes and specifically looking and gesturing at her. She started recording the tirade as the man lectured another passenger. Every disease ever came from China. Everything comes from China. They are disgusting, the man said. They can be so smart and be like, oh yeah, I developed this, I developed that. But like, yeah, they can't even, yeah, I tell you, these people are going crazy. They're going crazy. And, you know, hey, she's, this is a lady that's not even from China. She's, you know, not even from China. And they're being, anybody that looks Asian is being attacked right now. Then you have on the other end, you have people that own restaurants, and people that own hotels and motels and stuff. You know, and people go in and they see somebody Asian behind the desk. They're like, you know, no thanks. We'll go get a room someplace else. So they go. They don't the population of people that have been going to like the Chinese restaurants, all that stuff fell off. You know, it fell off way off. So it's like, hey, this is a backlash going on right here, right now, and we don't know how long this is going to last. We don't know what's going on, and this whole coronavirus is a scary thing, but this racism is just as scary as that.
KP's Video News, baby.
You know what time it is. Peace.